Just wanted to say welcome again to our new students. At this point, you should have applied, been accepted, paid your enrollment fee, been assigned to a cohort. Now you're ready to start. And you'll notice that the first thing you need to do is do a pre-course assignment. This will be a little test for you, kind of give you a feel of what it's going to be about. And then I'll meet with you through Zoom, and everybody that's newly enrolled into the program will all just meet each other, say hello to each other, and you get to know me a little better as well. I'll even let you ask questions if you want. I'm an open book. I'm happy to share any questions or answers that you may have to your questions. So here we are. We're ready to start. You're excited, and you're also probably a little bit nervous. But let me tell you, it's going to be a great adventure. And the more you put into the program, the more you're going to get out of it. I know you're all busy, have families, working and doing ministry. But I think going through this course will be well worth your effort, and you'll be permanently changed by your experience. So let's get started. If you haven't already, make sure you order your books. This is something that's very important. Try to order them in advance. You have a book list already. Try to order them in advance. If you can order all of them in advance, that would be the best. That way you have them ready to go when you're ready to start. Now, one of the first things that you'll be looking at is the purpose of education. And this is something I want you to notice when you do the reading about classical versus traditional education, is that we're in education. The point of the whole thing is to understand what is beautiful, what is true, and what is good. These are the three aspects of classical education that we're going to stress through this course. We want this course to be transformative, and I want you to understand and take away from this course that as you influence other people, you want to emphasize what is the beautiful, what is the truth, and what is the good. There's so much going on in education today that is so harmful and so destructive to the human mind. And if it's destructive to the human mind, it's destructive to the soul that God has given us. So we want to emphasize what is the beautiful, what is the true, what is good. Also, you'll be reading a very famous article from a very famous missiologist, Dr. Winter. He was a missionary in Central America for many years, and he started the U.S. Center for World Missions, and he wrote a very interesting article called The Story of Our Planet, and that should get our brain cells moving. And this is a good overview of various things that we're going to look at during the course, and it'll be stimulating. You're probably not going to agree with everything that he says, but it's supposed to get your thinking going. It's a long article. It's not a book, but it's about a 20-page article. So make sure you dive into that and absorb what you're reading there, and you'll begin to get answers to those questions as you come through the course. Also, we will be spending a lot of time in Genesis, and I'll say more about that in the next video. But since we starting off in Genesis, one of the main narratives that's going to come out is obviously the creation story. We're all familiar with that. So we're going to spend a lot of time in Genesis, and the first issues that we need to take up is the creation story. Now, with that creation story, it raises the issue of science. So we're going to spend a lot of time in science, and we're going to answer the question, is the Bible and science in conflict? And you'll be shocked to know that they are not in conflict. And you'll be learning some of the newest theories that we're learning in science today. It'll be very, very exciting for you. Also, you'll be, through Hillsdale lectures, you'll be introduced to this Greek philosopher, Aristotle. And you'll understand why he is very famous. He wrote what some people believe one of the greatest books ever written, and it is entitled Ethics. And he answers the question, how do we live a good life? And you're going to learn from a non-Christian, non-Hebrew, non-biblical perspective what these philosophers were thinking. Now, at that time, he lived about 300 years before Jesus came on earth. And they begin to think, well, how do we live a good life? And it'll be really interesting. You're going to learn his thought process. And he's going to be raising this issue of logos. which is the ability to think and the ability to speak. In the creation narrative, we learn that God created everything, and when God saw it was good. When he created Adam and Eve, mankind, he said it was very good. What does it mean to be very good when God created mankind? Could it be the logos that Aristotle and his school of philosophy mentioned in their philosophical thinking? And you'll find out that's exactly what it is. God created us in his image. That means we have a logos. We have ability to think and reason and discern. Look at creation. Look at life. And from that, we can draw various conclusions. And also, I want you to begin to think, and you, as we go through Genesis, you'll see that when God created everything, everything was created good. Aristotle says the definition of something is good when it performs the function for which it was created. He used an example of a teacup. When a cup is good, that means it performs the function for which it was created. In other words, drinking tea. A cracked teacup that cannot hold the tea is not good. So that raises the question. God says we were created good. What does that mean? Are we created for a purpose as well? So then we begin to see biblical theology and Christian doctrine merging with Greek philosophy. And you're going to learn in this course that Greek philosophy was widely accepted by the church and the early church fathers for a number of really interesting and exciting reasons. So hang in there. So the first thing that Aristotle is going to talk about is the definition of good. Well, if you go through this first lesson, then we're going to set up a global Zoom call, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, and we're going to meet each other. So get through this part with your cohort, get to know your other members of your cohort. And if you haven't already, next lesson, you're going to have the opportunity to sign up for some personal wellness classes. The first month is free. This is not required by for the curriculum in order to pass. However, we highly recommend that you sign up for this personal wellness course. It is free, and then after that it'll cost $10, but it'll be well worth your time. There may be some scholarships available, I don't know. But we highly recommend that you not only educate your mind, educate your soul, but also discipline your body, and your ministry will be much stronger, and your Christian life will be much stronger as a result. So there it is. You should be ready to launch and get going. Enjoy the adventure. As I said, it's not easy, but what we ask is this one thing. You try your best, okay? Try your best and begin to integrate these ideas. All right, see you next time, and God